Tonight, the 4 outstanding contestants from the heats return to do battle in the Group B final.
I'm Tim Redding from Hampshire, a public relations officer and winner of Heat 1.
Hello, I'm Paul Evans from Bristol, an insurance administrator and the winner of Heat 2.
I'm Tony Hetherington, computing manager from Eltham, South East London, winner of Heat 3.
Hi, I'm Cathy McElroy, a pharmacist from Temple Patrick, and I'm the highest scoring runner-up.
Good evening and welcome to the Krypton Factor and to what should be an exciting and totally absorbing contest. For tonight, it's the Group B final, with the winners of the last 3 heats plus the group's high-scoring runner-up returning to battle it out for one guaranteed place in the grand final, now just 5 weeks away. And this is the splendid Krypton Factor trophy they'll all have their eyes on this evening. But to have any chance of owning it, they first have to qualify for that grand final by winning tonight's group final. That's the goal for 4 outstanding contestants. So let's get them on their way now by moving straight into round 1, mental agility. And for tonight's test, the group finalists must imagine a grid, 3 squares by 3. They will each be given a 9-letter word, which they must mentally place in the grid. For example, if the word was inspector, it would fit into the grid like this. Then, with the contestants mentally picturing the grid, I might ask a question like, the right column. The answer, SCR, being the letters down the right-hand column. Or I might say, 2 above O. The answer is N. Simple when you can see it, very hard when, like the contestants, you can't. Now let's meet the first group finalist ready to tackle this daunting test. The Public Relations Officer from Bishop's Waltham, Hampshire, Tim Redding. Tim was the winner of Heat 1, taking maximum points in the mental agility and response round. Welcome back to you, Tim, and remember this is a speed test and you must answer as many questions as you can in 40 seconds. Good luck to you. Your word is reactions. Are you ready to begin?
Yes, I am.
Good, then your time starts now. Right column.
AIS.
Second row.
CTI.
Central letter.
T.
Top left to bottom right.
RTS.
Left column in alphabetical order.
COR.
Above N.
T.
Below I.
S.
Top right to bottom left.
ATO.
2 above S.
A.
On left of letter above N.
C.
On right of letter below E.
I.
Vowels only. Needn't go on with that one in 40 seconds. That's absolutely brilliant. Tim, you got 11. Fantastic. Sit down. Take your seat, please. Take your seat. Well done. Our second group finalist is the insurance administrator from Bristol, Paul Evans. Paul led from start to finish in Heat 2, winning 5 rounds and amassing a great Krypton Factor of 52. So welcome again to you, Paul. Your word is foresight. Are you ready to start?
I am.
Right, then your time starts now. Right column.
RIT.
Second row.
ESI.
Central letter.
S.
Top left to bottom right.
FST.
Left column in alphabetical order.
EFG.
Above T.
I.
Below S.
H.
Top right to bottom left.
RSG.
2 above H.
O.
On right of letter above G.
S.
On left of letter below I.
H.
I'm afraid that bleeper just beat you to it, which is a pity, but nevertheless, in 40 seconds you got 10, which is brilliant. Well done. Take a seat. Well, I said 10 there, but there's some good news for Paul, because the adjudicator says he did just get in there in time, so it is in fact 11 points to Paul. Well done. Right, well, the third group finalist is our computing manager from Eltham, London, Tony Hetherington. Tony won Heat 3 in tremendous style, taking maximum points in 5 rounds and finishing with a magnificent record Krypton Factor of 62. Well, that was marvellous stuff then, Tony. Good luck to you tonight. Your word is searching. Are you ready to start?
Yes.
Then your time starts now. Right column.
AHG.
Second row.
RCH.
Central letter.
C.
Top left to bottom right.
SCG.
Left column in alphabetical order.
IRS.
Above N.
C.
Below H.
G.
Top right to bottom left.
ACI.
2 above G.
A.
On right of letter above I.
C.
On left of letter below E.
R.
Vowels only in word order.
EA.
Well, you're on your way, E-A-I, but Bleeper beat you there. Nonetheless, in 40 seconds, you have scored 11, which is brilliant. Well done. Take your seat, Tony. Our fourth group finalist is from Temple Patrick in Northern Ireland, pharmacist Cathy McElroy. Cathy qualified as the group's highest-scoring runner-up with a fine all-round performance, including wins in observation and general knowledge. It's good to see you back, Cathy. Your word is organised. And are you ready to start?
Yes.
The very best of luck to you. Your time starts now. Right column.
GID.
Second row.
ANI.
Central letter.
N.
Top left to bottom right.
OND.
Left column in alphabetical order.
AOS.
Above S.
A.
Below R.
N.
Top right to bottom left.
GID.
Wrong. 2 above D.
G.
On left of letter above N.
O.
On right of letter below R.
D.
Wrong. Vowels only in word order.
A.
Right. In 40 seconds, you've scored 9, which is a very good score. Cathy, well done. Take your seat, please. Well, you certainly know this is a group final. That was tremendous stuff. And as 3 contestants have finished with the same number of correct answers, they will now be separated by the clock, the first 3 places being decided by how quickly each contestant reached his total of 11. Then, as always, it'll be 10 points, 6, 4 and 2 for first, second, third and fourth places. So let's go to the scoreboard and see how it all worked out. And there is the situation at the end of round 1. In fourth place, Cathy with 2 points. And the clock determined the top 3 places. Third, Paul with 4 points. Second, Tim with 6 points. And the winner and early leader with a Krypton Factor of 10, the computing manager from Eltham, London, Tony Hetherington. For round 2, we took our group finalists to the Royal Naval Air Station at Culdrose in Cornwall and to their £10 million simulator. Navy pilots on board and in the control room instructed and monitored the contestants as they responded to the challenge of landing a Sea King helicopter on the deck of an aircraft carrier in an exacting test of hand-eye foot coordination. The judge for this round is the Royal Navy's Lieutenant Steve Charles. Tim Redding to make the first attempt. And the flare is fired from HMS Illustrious, indicating half a mile to go. So far, so good. He has, in fact, brought it in from 2 miles out, now adjusting slightly to the right, and that's achieved by the gentlest nudge right on the cyclic stick, just the smallest of inputs, the key to it all. And coming in now over the deck, losing height just a little bit too fast, and he hits the back of the deck for a crash, and that's a pity because he's been doing so well. Next, Paul Evans. Just reaching the half-mile point, and he descends towards that deck by gently pushing down on the collective lever in his left hand, and tremendous coordination required because at the same time he must control direction and speed with the cyclic stick in his right hand. And he's manoeuvring the Sea King very nicely, coming in right over the centre of the deck, reducing speed, and that's a nice touchdown. And an excellent performance there by Paul Evans, appreciated, as you can see, by Lieutenant Steve Charles alongside. So he'll be pleased with that, and rightly so. Tony Hetherington is next, And like the others, he's had a short period of instruction from Lieutenant Charles and 3 practice runs, but this is the only one that will be judged. He has descended from 400 feet at about 60 knots, but will be looking to ease the cyclic stick back a touch to reduce speed as he approaches the deck. And a steady nerve required here. He's just a fraction to the left and still coming in a bit fast, but he's holding it straight and he lands, still very fast, but rolling out straight down the deck. And he did well to keep control there. That was a good effort. Finally, Cathy McElroy from Northern Ireland. Now, she's flown the Sea King fairly well to this point, but the last half mile is the crucial part. She's just a touch to the left of the centre line, needs to nudge it right, and at the same time she must adjust the height with the collective lever. Just small inputs are required, and she's coordinating well, making the right corrections, coming in over the deck, a little bit to the left and a little bit fast, but again correcting very well, and lands very positively. So that's a very good performance from Cathy McElroy. Now for the result of the round, here's the judgment of Lieutenant Steve Charles. 4th, Tim Redding. He made a good approach but dropped a shade too low and hit the back of the ship, 2 points. 3rd, Tony Hetherington. A fairly erratic descent but adjusted well in the latter stages to land very fast, 4 points. 2nd, Cathy McElroy. Another erratic descent but her final approach was smooth for a positive landing, 6 points. And the winner, Paul Evans. In his final approach, he reduced speed well for a good landing in the ideal place, 10 points. And now to the scoreboard, where Tim and Cathy both have 8 points, but we also have joint leaders, with Krypton Factors of 14. It's Bristol's Paul Evans, and still there, Elton's Tony Hetherington. Well, we have a great battle developing here as we go into round 3, where an eye for detail and an ear for information are essential requirements. Coming up, the latest gripping episode of our comedy thriller, Where is Don Day?, starring Tony Robinson as an accidental bank robber and Michelle Collins as his wild accomplice. Contestants, will you turn now, please, to your screens? Concentrate hard as Don and Marcy set off to recover the stolen money with the real bank robbers in hot pursuit.
First thing I had to do was to get back that stolen money I'd posted to Aunt Lucy. I only hoped she hadn't heard the news about me being sought by the police of 3 counties as the mastermind behind a daring daylight bank robbery. What are you doing to me?
Don't be such a wimp. That was slow.
Slow?
Are you sure this is it? Well, come on then.
Of course, you know your cousin Terry's taken early retirement.
No.
Well, the railway's not been the same since they stopped the steam trains. 1956, I think it was.
Oh, sorry.
Don't worry, love. There's no harm done. Shall I make us another pot?
Oh, that'd
No,
be nice.
thanks.
Do you want those packages down? The business papers for your friend.
Well, in your own time.
Yes, please.
Whenever you're ready.
Oh, well, I'll get the kettle on first, any road.
Thank you.
Get her to hand over the money.
She is my auntie. I do not want her suspecting.
You might have told me your friends were coming.
Nobody move.
OK, baby. Where's the cash?
Get out, Enzo. We haven't got it yet.
Well, I'm afraid we'll all have to wait until next week to find out what happens next. But right now, group finalists, would you please take hold of your keypads and stand by for 6 observation questions with multi-choice answers. And here's question 1. What was the name of Aunt Lucy's cottage? Your time is up, and the answer is A, Dale Cottage. Question 2. How many books were there on the tea table? Time is up. The answer to that, A, 2. Question 3. By whom was Don being sought? And the answer to that was C, the police of 3 counties. Question 4. What did the sign below the no-through road symbol say? And the answer to that one, B, unsuitable for motors. 2 to go. Question 5. According to Aunt Lucy, when did they stop the steam trains? And the answer to that one was C, 1956. Finally, question 6. What was on the window ledge behind Aunt Lucy in front of the plate? The answer to that was C, a porcelain duck. Well, immediately all our contestants' choices have been recorded and processed by the computer, so I can now tell them how many they got right. Kathy, you got 2 right and are 4th with 2 points. Tony, you got 4 right and are in 3rd place with 4 points. Tim, it was 5 right for you, 2nd place, 6 points. And Paul, 5 right for you also, but in a faster time than Tim, so you win the round and get 10 points. Well done. And let's put all those points into the scoreboard now. And, well, we now have a clear leader with a Krypton Factor of 24, the insurance administrator from Bristol, Paul Evans. Colonel Terry McCarry starts the assault course race, and away goes Kathy McElroy, the 23-year-old pharmacist from Temple Patrick in Northern Ireland, although she now works in Cardiff, a graduate from the University of London. And this being a group final, we can of course look back to the heats and compare the times of the contestants in their respective heats. Kathy here had a very respectable time, and certainly one that gives her hope in this race, because none of the men there were among the fastest performers, although all had good times nonetheless. Tim, nearest to us in red, he had the best time, though Paul and Tony reasonably close to him. But in the battle between the 3 of them there, Paul's opened up the early gap as he chases Kathy McElroy down the course into the switchback. Paul has trained at the Welshback Health and Fitness Club in Bristol, where he comes from. They designed a special programme for him, and it certainly seems to be working at this point, because he is closing all the time on Kathy McElroy. So Paul Evans, and right there with him Tim Redding. Paul into the cargo net, leans forward, starts to climb, good technique. Kathy, though, struggling slightly in that S-bend, whereas Paul lets himself bump and bore down, takes the bruises, doesn't mind, got very close now to Kathy. And we usually find that come a second run on the assault course, as in a group final, the contestants improve their times by 15, 20 seconds or even more. And I'm sure that's what's happening here. Kathy going extremely well, Paul going well, and right there too is Tim Redding, and not far behind him, Tony Hetherington. So we've got a marvellous race on our hands here as they come to the top of that scramble net, and it looks like Paul might just be overtaking Kathy there, and he lets go and he falls right to the bottom, and he just manages to hang on. My goodness me, that was almost a disaster, and Tim in trouble as well, and he's caught up right inside those ropes. His legs are everywhere, and Paul badly shocked there, his legs hardly holding him up. Kathy just pushing on steadily, but that was a bad moment for Paul, and one wonders whether Tim Redding can make something of this, because Paul must definitely have been shaken there as he came right down that scramble net. A very nasty moment indeed, and Tim pushing himself forward now. He sees his opportunity, and he's closing slightly on Paul Evans, who now has to fit his hands through those safety loops. The army will not let him go until his hands are properly there, and he seems a bit phased. He's taken a long time to put his hands through those loops, but he's on his way now. But right behind him is Tim Redding. So Tim, in the TA, used to assault courses, has got very close indeed, and Kathy down there too. Not such a good landing for Kathy, but neck and neck between Paul now and Tim Redding as they come to the last obstacle. This will really drain them, because it's all uphill and stepping over those barriers, but it looks like Paul is just hanging on. He looks very tired indeed as he crosses the line. He just makes it. His legs give way completely, slightly phased, I think, by that fall. Tony Hetherington's way back in 4th place. Kathy, good, strong, steady run to get 3rd place and 4 points, but what a dramatic race that was. Now to the scoreboard, and Tim Redding has moved up 1 place to joint 2nd, but increasing his lead to 14 points. The leader with a Krypton Factor of 34, Bristol's Paul Evans. So Paul setting a very hot pace, and with only 2 rounds to go, the others will be determined to do well in this, the penultimate round, and they can still do it. Coming up, a 2-dimensional logic problem designed to tax the brain to the limit. Contestants, would you now please take your positions? In front of each of them is a light box and a number of coloured pieces. They must arrange these pieces on the light box to create a pattern which is symmetrical when rotated through any number of right angles. Are you all ready, contestants? The test starts now.
Well, the first thing the group finalists must do is to familiarise themselves with all the pieces and then look for the clues that will lead them to the symmetrical solution. And I should say at this point, in case you're comparing one contestant's effort with another, that the finished product we showed you just now is one of two possible solutions to the problem. Now, what they should be recognising at this moment is that two shapes feature in the solution: a series of octagons made up with a combination of red and blue pieces, and 4 squares, all yellow. And Tony here has quickly grasped the right idea and is going very well. And, well, going even better is Paul Evans. He's got the symmetry worked out. It's just a question now of keeping it going. But Kathy, well, she's struggling. She's on the right track, but hasn't quite found the pattern. And Tim Redding making splendid progress too, so it's going to be a really close finish between the three men. Tony Hetherington's second equal, with Tim going into the round almost there. But it's Paul Evans who's going to win it. And notice the different pattern he's come up with, but absolutely symmetrical and correct. 10 points. And Tim Redding gets second place, I think, yes, with the other version, a valuable 6 points to him. And that means, of course, Tony, just a fraction behind, will be third, picking up 4 points, leaving Kathy with 2 points.
Oh, great stuff. We really do have some high-calibre group finalists tonight, and none better than Paul at the moment, in tremendous form. Congratulations on winning that round. All the points we shall now enter into the scoreboard, and with just one round to go, at the moment, way out in front with a Krypton Factor of 44. Bristol's Paul Evans. Now the sixth and final round, and that grand final place almost within grasp. And of course there's also a place in the grand final for the highest scoring runner-up when all 3 group finals have been completed. The score to beat so far is 38. 90 seconds of rapid-fire general knowledge questions coming up. 2 points for a correct answer, but 2 points deducted for a wrong one. Are you all ready, contestants? The clock starts now. Outside which Texas city is the Lyndon B. Johnson Control Center for manned spaceflight? Tony.
Houston.
Correct. What's the first name of John Huston's daughter nominated for an Oscar for The Grifters this year? Kathy.
Angelica.
Correct. Vox Angelica, Dulciana and Diapason are stops on which musical instrument? Answer is the organ. What sort of organisation was called the Stasi in East Germany and Securitate in Paul?
Secret police.
Correct. Which Latin phrase means in secret when referring to proceedings in a court of law? Tony.
In camera.
Correct. Which camera did Edwin Land invent that produced instant pictures? Tim.
Polaroid.
Correct. The Polaris submarine base at Holyloch is on which major Scottish river? Tony.
Clyde.
Correct. In myth, Clytemnestra was the half-sister of which beautiful wife of Menelaus whom Paris kidnapped? Paul.
Helen.
Correct. Which singer had hits with Helen Wheels, Band on the Run, and Listen to What the Man's... Tony.
Wings. Paul McCartney.
Correct. Which beetle was sacred to the ancient Egyptians? Tim.
Scarab.
Correct. Which dramatist wrote A Trip to Scarborough, The Rivals and The School for... Tony.
Sheridan.
Correct. Which word for a large sherry glass is also a sailing ship with 2 or more... Tony.
Schooner.
Correct. Who sailed to Australia in the Endeavour, then circumnavigate... Tony.
Captain Cook.
Correct. In cookery, what is a brochette or a shashlik or kebab? Tony.
Skewer.
Correct. What happened at Spithead? That's it. The end of the round, the end of the contest. And the winner tonight with a Krypton Factor of 48, the insurance administrator from Bristol, Paul Evans. Well, a great late effort there by Tony, but our warmest congratulations go to Paul Evans on that splendid victory. He led from the second round, and he now takes his place in the Krypton Factor Grand Final in 5 weeks' time. And with 40 points, Tony Hetherington is now the highest-scoring runner-up after 2 of the group finals, but he'll have to wait until the end of the Group C final to see if he makes it too into that grand final. Do join us at 7 o'clock next Monday for the start of our Group C section. Until then, good night from all of us, and let's congratulate again, not just tonight's winner, Paul, but all 4 group finalists for giving us such a good contest. Good night.
Well, heroes in the USA are as welcome as a slice of good old apple pie. After the break, we spend a day in the life of one of the best. Big Dwayne Chapman is Dog the Bounty Hunter.